Today's mysterious story is about Easter Island, a paradise that became a place of unspeakable tragedy. Easter Island is one of Chile's most visited destinations. The Moai statues, one of the 7 wonders of the world, were introduced to the world by Dutch explorer Jacob Roggeveen in 1722. These massive stone figures on open grassland captivated human imagination. The island's mysterious appearance sparked countless conspiracy theories, from aliens to ancient lost civilizations. The most famous is Eric von Däniken's theory of an ancient super-civilization, a lost advanced society that predated modern humanity. The theory holds that a race with technology beyond our own once existed, and that extraterrestrials gave them this knowledge or directly intervened. Applied to Easter Island, the conclusion is simple. The Moai statues were built by aliens. The reasoning: there was no way to transport the massive statues. Easter Island had almost no trees, and primitive people couldn't carve such precise stone. Von Däniken's claims spread worldwide through the media, but scholars quickly pushed back. The Moai were carved from soft, volcanic, tough, easy enough to sculpt, and ropes, not trees, could have been used to transport them. Botanist John Flenley examined biological remains on Easter Island and concluded it was once covered in dense forests, including towering palm trees. If trees once existed, they could have been used to move the statues. This discovery shifted attention from the Moai to the island itself. How did a once forested island become barren grassland? And how did the indigenous people even get there in the first place? Easter Island lies 3,700 kilometers from mainland Chile, one of the most remote, inhabited places on Earth. Even today, with advanced maritime technology, it's an extremely isolated destination. For ancient humans, reaching it would have been nearly impossible. According to legend, the first humans to set foot on the island were Hatu Metua and his followers. Hatu Metua sailed from the island of Hiva by canoe and became Easter Island's first king. Scholars also suggest that Polynesian peoples who migrated from Taiwan branched out across the Pacific, eventually reaching Easter Island. This is now largely accepted as the most credible hypothesis, supported by canoe routes that overlap with known Polynesian migration patterns. The exact time and method of their arrival remains a mystery. Regardless, the settlers built a remarkably advanced civilization, not just unique for such an isolated island. It was an impressively developed civilization. Cave paintings and the still undeciphered Rongorongo script are among the surviving traces of their culture. Their economy likely depended on whale hunting by canoe, suggesting their navigation skills were highly sophisticated. And the Moai statues, ranging from 4 to 12 meters tall, how they were made, moved, and why, remains a mystery to this day. Scholars believe the Moai were originally built for religious purposes. The first statue is thought to represent Hatu Matua, the founding king. Author Rutger Bregman, who wrote Humankind, offered a different take. The statues may simply have been a leisure activity for the islanders, since only 1 or 2 statues were moved per year. He argued they likely didn't carry any grand significance. As for how the statues were transported, scholars proposed that logs were used as rollers, based on evidence of past forests. This theory raised a new question: could the Moai construction itself have caused the island's deforestation? Of course, trees weren't only used for the statues. As the population grew, the need for farmland and resources increased, leading to more and more trees being cut down. But even accounting for all of this, the pace of Easter Island's deforestation is baffling. No existing hypothesis can fully explain it. Then a new voice entered the conversation. Jared Diamond, professor at UCLA and author of Collapse, offered a sweeping new perspective on Easter Island's downfall. As the forests disappeared, desertification spread. Animals and plants that depended on the trees went extinct, delivering a devastating blow to human life on the island. Without trees to build canoes, the islanders could no longer reach the sea. The soil degraded, and agriculture began to fail. Yet even as things fell apart, the islanders kept building Moai. By this point, the statues had taken on a new meaning. Their size now represented the power and dominance of each tribe. As resources ran out and food became scarce, the island's tribes entered a brutal competition for survival. People began eating each other. Cannibalism had come to Easter Island. This is the core of Jared Diamond's Easter Island collapse scenario. Evidence: human bones found discarded in ancient trash heaps. According to explorer Raghavin, who arrived in 1722, Easter Island was a horrifying sight. Desertification had spread beyond control. Around 3,000 survivors were barely scraping by. And signs of cannibalism were found across the island. The moai stood everywhere, facing away from the sea, watching the interior. A sight described as deeply unsettling. But this isn't the only version of Easter Island's story. Professor Adam Frank at the University of Rochester used Easter Island to argue for a universal truth about civilization and the environment. Frank's hypothesis begins with the assumption that humanity may not be the first intelligent civilization in the universe. Across billions of planets in the cosmos, countless civilizations may have risen and vanished before us. All civilizations grow by consuming resources. Environmental destruction is an unavoidable byproduct of that growth. At the end of that destruction comes climate change, leading to food shortages and population collapse. In other words, climate change threatens the very survival of a civilization. No known civilization has ever escaped this pattern. This assumes, of course, that intelligent life existed before us. Frank concluded, the fall of civilization is inevitable, an inescapable consequence of the relationship between humans and their environment. But his sweeping generalization sparked significant backlash. The climate-driven collapse he described had never been directly observed, and his use of Easter Island felt like forcing evidence to fit a conclusion. Dr. Christopher Stevenson didn't directly challenge Frank, but he rejected the entire mainstream narrative about Easter Island. His conclusion: Easter Island didn't collapse because of the islanders. It collapsed because of Europeans. Europeans and Peruvians brought smallpox and syphilis to the island and enslaved the indigenous people. The population didn't collapse from internal warfare or cannibalism, making Adam Frank's entire argument beside the point. Stevenson added that even after the last trees were gone, the islanders were still managing to survive reasonably well. It was the arrival of outsiders, Chileans and Europeans, that truly destroyed Easter Island through disease and slave raids. Those lucky enough to survive fled the island by any means possible. By the time Easter Island was annexed by Chile in the 19th century, the population had dropped to the hundreds. Today, the island's population has grown, and trees can once again be found. Tourists visit Easter Island in large numbers every year, bringing in considerable revenue. But for the indigenous people, it's not entirely welcome. Easter Island is no longer truly theirs. Chileans now make up half the island's population and control its economy. Indigenous people try to sell traditionally crafted goods, but they can't compete with modern mass-produced products. Stripped of economic power, the indigenous people demanded independence from Chile. In 2010, they launched a revolt. Chile sent police to suppress the uprising by force. The relationship between Chileans and the indigenous people is now irreparably broken. Many theories surround Easter Island, but the mysteries remain unsolved. How the moai were transported, the undeciphered Rongo script, the writing that Hatumatua prophesied no one would ever be able to read, and how ancient islanders reached such an impossibly remote island have never been fully answered. Perhaps there really was an ancient super civilization, or aliens did visit, or perhaps the evidence has simply been lost to time. Until these mysteries are solved, Easter Island will continue to captivate the world's imagination.